Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Illustration Department podcast. My name is Giuseppe Castellano. In this podcast, I talk to folks in illustration, graphic design, publishing, animation, and other creative fields about their work, the lessons they've learned, and the bumps and bruises they've experienced along the way. In this episode, my guest is illustrator, artist, and author Emma Carlisle. Discovering or rediscovering joy in your art can feel impossible, but it's worth trying. As Emma and I discuss, that joy can change more than your art. Among the topics, Emma shares how an illustration practice can be a bit of a whirlwind. We talk about why some illustration advice is infantilizing. And Emma shares the one lesson she hopes every illustrator learns, besides remembering to pack a pencil. I hope you enjoy our conversation. I might actually include this in the podcast.
Yeah.
But I just started hitting record.
Well, that's good because there was some whispering that was happening a minute ago. Maybe it's good.
That was so good. That was good stuff. We had such a good 5 minutes of banter.
Yep.
And I stupidly didn't hit the record button. Now here we are.
Here we are.
It's
fine. What do we do?
Let's say every single thing we just said, but again, and pretend that it's spontaneous and natural. No, I'm kidding.
Okay.
I'll just ask you the question again.
Yeah.
I'm leaving this in.
Leave it in.
Listener. This is how, professional this podcast is. I'm such a dummy.
Don't worry about it. These things happen.
Exactly.
And
Nothing's
it's
perfect.
Exactly. And I think we're about to chat about that. So I think it's a good.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Let's start where we mean to go.
Let's do that. So the question I asked you about 35 seconds ago before I hit record was, illustrators will often ask me, how do I budget my time with respect to my illustration practice? A lot of illustrators I talk to just don't have the luxury of time or the privilege of time to take hours on end to do whatever it is that they're trying to do, whether it's putting a book dummy together or submitting to agents or working on a client project. They're homeschooling 4 children, they have full-time jobs, etc. Looking from the outside in, you have so much going on, not just with client work, but with your Substack, your Patreon, all these other things. How do you budget your time?
People always say to me, like, you must be so busy, or you're so busy. So 5 years ago, I think is when I was at my busiest. So I was lecturing at Plymouth Uni on the illustration course. I was running Patreon. I was running my own print shop, and I was starting my new picture book again. I was starting sort of coming back to picture books. So I started working on What Do You See When You Look at a Tree, which was my first picture book back after having a big break from picture books. And that was insane. It was when I just met Phil, who's my partner, who's also an illustrator. And he always says to me, like, it's not as bad as when I first met you, because I would wake up, my alarm would go off at like 6 a.m. I'd be at the gym by 7. I'd do a workout. I'd come home. I'd maybe shower, which sounds gross, but we'll be honest. Well, we'll be open and honest.
Lay it out.
Then I'd maybe go to the studio and do a few hours in the studio, and then I'd come home, and then maybe I'd shower, and then maybe I'd film something for Patreon. And that's a day when I'm not lecturing. So then maybe in the evening I'd work on the picture book. I would stay up till like midnight, 1 a.m. doing stuff, and then it would be a repeat. So my days used to be filled as tightly as they could possibly be filled. It's weird talking about it because that's not my life anymore. So although I'm busy, I had a creative consultant for a few years called Elaine. She worked at Studio 1850. With Elaine, it was almost like therapy for my creative business. We sort of picked apart that need to be working all the time, that need to be productive, that need to be constantly showing people that I was doing all this stuff as well.
Yep.
Look at me, I'm working so hard. So now my day looks nothing like that. Like, this year is the first year where I've been using a digital calendar. I have been a paper calendar person for my whole life, but this year has been the first year I've gone digital, and now I can see my whole month ahead of me. I block in time for stuff. I try and take weekends off. I don't work in the evenings. I think when you initially emailed about this, it was going to be like 8 p.m. for me. And I think I emailed back like, no, no, thank you. No, thank you. I think I was like, yes, please. I'd love to do the podcast, but also, and if it's the only time that worked for you, then that's, you know, I would have happily done it. But also I really protect those evenings now. I try and protect my weekends. I mean, nothing's perfect.
Right.
So some days I will work late. Sometimes I will be working early, but being a bit more precious of my time has made me a happier person. And I think I'm still doing stuff. I'm still doing a lot of stuff, but I don't feel exhausted all the time anymore, which is nice.
Right.
Does that answer the question or not really? Have I just...
Does. Of course
yeah.
It does.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm just sitting here thinking about that great back and forth we had about you at the pub and the two dudes by the fire, and you're staring at them, and that's no one's ever going to hear that except for me and you.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. But me 5 years ago would have never gone to the pub after work. And actually, I think that's a really new thing. Last night, it was a really nice evening, and I said to Phil, like, do you want to go to the, should we go to the pub? And he was like,
There's always
yes, let's go to the pub. I find time moves so quickly and just keeps moving quicker and quicker. But the more I actually step back from my desk and do something different, or do something for me, or do something that isn't work related, the slower time feels. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, there's a monotony to doing the same thing every single day. That's why I'm not a big fan of the draw every day advice.
Oh, I
used to be.
I don't draw every day.
Nor should you.
No.
You can draw in your head. You can look at those two guys. See, I'm naturally weaving it back in. You can look at those two dudes having a pint by the fireplace at this pub.
Yeah.
And you can have your sketchbook, but not your pencil, and not worry about not drawing this interesting scene. You can just appreciate it and then go back to hanging out with Phil.
Just soak in that sort of... And sometimes those memories are really useful, especially when you're working on picture books. That's normally what I'm trying to do, is think like, what picture book would this ever be appropriate for? Probably not, two men drinking in a pub. Probably not.
I don't know about that.
I don't know
about that.
Maybe one day.
They're in the background.
Yeah.
In the foreground, there's like a kid doing something, but in the background, there's two dudes drinking a beer.
Yeah. Yeah. Or just sat having a chat. But I think, sometimes we were saying before, committing that to memory and intensely staring. Maybe not too intensely staring, but just trying to commit some of it to memory is sometimes just as important as drawing.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Should I do the joke where I pretend to be those two dudes and they're talking to each other?
Yeah, go on.
And one of them saying, why is that lady staring at us? I don't know. It was funnier before. It was funnier before.
It was, but we got it in there now. It's in the recording. Yeah.
Speaking of getting things in there, you have touched on this in other interviews. It's literally in your bio and your website, this sort of like two halves of your career prior to your 2017, 2018 mental breakdown and after. Let's go back 4 years before this.
Yeah.
So you earned a Master's of Arts degree in children's book illustration from Cambridge in 2014. Is that correct?
I never know. Let's go 2014. Yeah.
Let's just go with that. Up until that point, were you always thinking about being a book illustrator?
Yes. Not necessarily children's books, but yes. So I studied my BA at Plymouth, where I then went on to teach after my MA, but I studied illustration, and it's always been about narrative for me. But I think when I was a lecturer there, I used to say to the students, like, all illustration has narrative in it. No matter what it is that you're looking at, an illustration has narrative. But for me, it's always been about narrative. So when I was a BA student, I desperately wanted to be cool. Like, desperately wanted just to be like a cool, edgy illustrator. And there were a lot of cool, edgy illustrators around when I was...
Box checked.
But I wasn't that. Without trying really, really, really hard, I'm not naturally a cool, edgy illustrator.
That should be in your bio on Instagram.
Not naturally cool.
Not naturally cool.
My bio on my website really needs updating soon. So maybe that will be it. But
yeah, you should look at it again, because I was reading it and I saw one area where there was like 2 or 3 spaces between sentences.
Yeah, I mean, it just needs the whole thing needs an update. But that's one of those things where I am too busy to do that. Gotcha. It sort of falls off the list of needing to be done. But yeah, so I did my BA, loved narrative, but never did real children's books. And then they took us to Bologna Children's Book Fair as part of our BA. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh my gosh, children's books can be so much more than what we are presented with in the UK.
Right.
So it was only in my last sort of year of uni where I was like, yes, I want to do children's books. So then the natural step was to go and do the MA at Cambridge and be taught by Martin Salisbury and other amazing illustrators and lecturers. Like what a treat.
Is it true that you had 6 book deals after your work was presented at the Bologna Book Fair?
I got 6 offers. So offers, yeah, for the same.
And 2 offers of representation from agents.
Yeah. It was really I just remember crying. I mean, who hasn't cried at Bologna Book Fair? Kind of feel like it's a rite of passage.
Gosh. Seriously, illustrators I've mentored who this year came back from the Bologna Book Fair were, updating me on what occurred. And a couple people said they cried.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's really normal.
Right.
I think I've cried twice at Bologna Book Fair. Like, yeah, there should be a Bologna Book Fair bingo list, and I think crying should go on there. It's intense.
I thought you were going to say like a cry room where everyone just goes and cries together.
There should also be a cry room. Like, yeah, maybe I should email the organizers.
And you cry because your work gets a great reception, and you cry because it doesn't get the reception you were hoping.
Yeah, and I've had both at Bologna Book Fair. Like I've done both ends of the spectrum, and like. That first year where I went, well, it wasn't my first year. That first year where I went with work to be represented, we were really lucky that I'd been taken on my BA. So I knew what I was walking into. I knew what it was going to look like. I knew kind of how busy it was going to be. I understood what that was going to be like. But what I wasn't prepared for is for my work to be so well received, because I didn't think I was sort of halfway through my MA. It wasn't what I went. I mean, everyone goes there wanting a book deal, don't they? But I really did not think it was going to happen at that point. And then the next time I cried at Bologna Book Fair was 2019. It was because I'd taken my sketchbooks with me because I've been doing a lot of drawing on location, and someone asked to see them and then said, they're not really for children anymore and they look very lonely. I burst into tears, and I don't even think I hadn't even really gone that year with a book, but also it felt like someone had sort of peered through my sketchbook, rummaged all the way to the back, and then looked at me and gone, "Oh, you look very lonely." And I just, and I don't blame that person. I was very lonely, but I mean, that's 2 different ends of Bologna Book Fair, isn't it?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
It's an emotional ride, man. I mean, I've talked about this on the podcast all the time. Being an illustrator is you're brave if you choose to be an illustrator, because you're going in knowing you'll cry at the high points and you'll cry at the low points, and both of those things will happen pretty much repeatedly throughout your career.
Yeah, I cry every picture book I've worked on. I have a cry, and I cry less and less
when you're done, because you're like, finally, I can go to the pub now.
It's normally the whole way through, I would say, is a good
art notes mostly, right? It's the art notes.
Oh god!
Please revise the background. It feels a little lonely to me. You're like, damn it.
Luckily, not so. Oh, actually, there was. Yeah, I mean, my last book that came out, A Home Is a Nest. I finished that book whilst we were moving house, which I don't recommend anyone does, but I handed it all in and I'd finished it. And then it's so funny now because looking at it now, I'm like, wow, Emma, I can't believe you submitted that. But I submitted this drawing. It's the last drawing in the book of the family, and they're all cozied up together in this room. And I submitted it with nothing in the background. It was just a plain empty room with a window, with no curtains, nothing. Right. And I realized now what I was doing is just drawing what I was literally sat in because we just moved house. And my lovely editor sort of was like, oh, could we just add some curtains? And
you're like, you can.
Just something.
You can add curtains. What's this wee business?
It's so funny looking at that drawing now because it's so bleak. And it's meant to be this warm, cozy end to the book. At the time, I was like, why do I need to edit this? It's great. And then I looked back at it like 6 months later and I was like, oh, I'm so glad someone caught that. I am so glad that I did not end on this bleak. It was just awful.
I'm sure it was fine.
So funny. No, I'll show it to you afterwards. It was awful. But yeah, I mean, illustration, it's a whirlwind, isn't it?
Absolutely. Related to what we're talking about here. There is advice I hear from other sources, other podcasts I read online. The only way I can really describe it is it's like an infantilization of illustration, meaning illustrators are sort of treated in this, or the practice of illustration is sort of hyper idealized in this, like, oh, all you need to do, oh, you want to be an illustrator? All you need to do is be cozy in your little studio, and that's all you need to do, and then you'll be an illustrator. Like, I'm trying to not criticize people who say it this way. You know, it sounds great. Are you kidding me? Sign me up. I don't have a studio. There's nothing cozy about trying to find your voice, trying to pay your bills through your art, getting rejections all the time, doubting whether or not you made the right choice. I mean, there's a lot to being an illustrator that is not cozy. I wish it were more fun, and I wish there were no there was no dark to the light, but there is.
Yeah, it's like hand cramps and not washing your hair for 4 days, right? That's like being an illustrator.
I mean, you got to take a shower or something. I mean, what's going on with this? Good Lord.
But you know what I mean? Like when you're
I don't know if that part was
mode.
in the pre-recording part or the post-recording part, but yeah, this is like the fifth time you've mentioned that not taking a shower.
Yeah, I do shower. I do.
Okay.
I am a clean person.
I'm going to clip that and put it in my like preview. Tomorrow on the podcast, I have Emma Carlisle. And then the clip is, I do shower.
I am a clean person.
I'm a clean person.
No, but you know what it's someday, you know, when you're up against a deadline and your hand hurts so much because all you've been doing is drawing for weeks and weeks and weeks and you haven't washed, I'm not going to wash my hair if I've got a deadline.
There you are again.
Exactly. I'm painting the picture of what I look like, an absolute illustration gremlin.
And that's your next book.
Yeah, there we go. But it can be very nice. I went to the doctors a few years ago because I was having really bad earache, and he like touched my shoulders and he was like, you're very stressed. And he was like, what do you do as a job? And I was like, I'm a children's book illustrator. And he was like, oh, that sounds lovely. And I was like, no, this is why I'm stressed.
Yeah.
This is why I'm stressed. But it can be love. There's so many amazing parts of being an illustrator, but also it's, yeah.
So I guess what I'm trying to get at here is I don't want illustrators to feel bad about not feeling that coziness yet, or feel jealous that other illustrators are doing that and they're not, or something. It's like you work in the space you have, you use the materials you have. You don't have to have the perfect view or the perfect desk or the perfect cup of tea or coffee or the perfect music. It doesn't have to work that way. No. You don't have to have a candle lit. Right. Exactly.
It's all good. Just sketchbook, pencil, Remember the pencil.
Remember the
that
pencil.
Would be it. Yeah.
That's the title of this episode. Remember the pencil. Although I don't do titles. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'm trying to find a problem where one doesn't exist, but I do occasionally I'll hear a piece of advice that's sort of like, why are you treating illustrators like children? Why are you treating this practice like it must be so lovely. It can be, it's not always. That's what I'm trying to get at.
It can be, but it also can not be, in either is okay. Like it's okay. Like whatever makes you the most comfortable to make the best work for you, I think. Mm-hmm. I used to have a space where I could work in Plymouth when I was doing those crazy hours, but I would much rather have worked at my kitchen table. There was just something actually that was the best place for me. And it's only now that when we moved last year that I got a studio space that I actually feel comfortable working in, and I'm like, I like coming in here. The space feels nice. Right. But your space that feels nice might be something completely different.
Exactly.
Whatever makes the best work, really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my quote unquote office is my dining room, and my podcast studio is a closet.
Nice.
That's it.
The closet works well though.
It does.
Good for sound.
Yeah, I mean, it's carpeted and there's a lot of clothes in here. And so it muffles the sound. Speaking of feeling comfortable or not, you have won an award or two. You've been honored once or twice throughout your career. Mm-hmm. And we are going to get, I can hear the listener going like, you said something about mental breakdown. Are you going to come back to that? Oh, we're going to come back to that. I've asked this question sort of in different ways with different folks over the years. With awards and honors and being celebrated and all these really great things are said about you and your work, does that get in the way of your work?
Personally, no. Okay. Because especially with children's books, I don't attach that to me. So I kind of feel like when I put a picture book out, it no longer feels like mine. It feels like it's its own thing.
Yeah, other people have said that in the podcast before.
When someone says, wow, that book's beautiful, I can go, I know, and I can agree.
Arrogant much?
But I'm not saying that I'm almost saying it like, I imagine them like they're my children. Like I've put them out in the world and they're doing their own thing and they're winning awards, they're doing well, but it's not attached to me. I very much, as soon as they're out, they're not mine anymore. Yeah, that's mean, when What You See When You Look at a Tree came out, I think they described me as an award-winning illustrator, and I had to correct them and tell them that actually the only award I'd won was for a football. It was a football award when I was 12.
Is that still the case?
No, not now.
Yeah,
so now
that's now, according to my research, incorrect.
Now there are some illustration awards now that we've had recently, but when that first book came out, I hadn't won an award. Like I'd never won an award for my illustration work.
Got it. Who's this we business?
We is me and the books. You can't see me, but I imagine that I'm putting my arm around the book.
I thought you were referring to yourself in several. There's several people in there that I'm talking to. Which is
quite
fine.
Often.
It's fine.
I used to do it when I talked about the shop. Like I'd have the shop. So when I was selling prints and books, and I would say, "We are doing this."
Oh my gosh!
And it was only ever me, but I didn't do it on purpose. It was just, it felt like we sounded almost better than just saying, Emma, I am doing this.
Me too. Emma?
Yeah.
When I started putting out stuff through the illustration department on Instagram mostly, I don't say, I think this, or I will help you do this. It's we will help you do this, or we think this. I don't do it anymore. Like on Instagram, I still do. I still write art history posts. I put them on Substack and I put part of them on Instagram. In the beginning, I would write, we think Quentin Blake is the greatest. Here's why. I did it for that reason. I did it because it sounded more professional or something. It sounded more like the illustration department was more than just me and my wife.
Yeah.
It goes, us, we're bigger than this. But then it just kind of, one day I woke up and I was like, this is ridiculous. Everyone knows it's me. I'm just going to write I think Quentin Blake is great.
Sometimes I still catch myself doing it, and I have to go back and edit, and now I'm like, no, it's just me. I'm proud of that. I'm proud that it's just me doing all this stuff. So yeah, I go back and I have to take out the we's and put in the I's. Yeah.
This is a little side note, but it's sort of kind of the vibe we've got going on here in this conversation. I have been, over the past 15 minutes, having a tough time breathing.
Oh.
Not for any medical reason, just sort of when you host a podcast, or at least when I do, I can only speak for myself. Breathing is really hard to do.
Yep.
I'm trying to talk, I'm listening. Here you just heard me take a deep breath, and then I'll just talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. And sometimes I try to turn my mouth away from the mic because I don't want people to hear, all the time. And so I try to breathe really quietly, and that makes it gets me to a place where I have to mute myself and take really deep breaths to get back to normal. We
can't see each other because we turned our cameras off, which feels like we're having an old school phone conversation. 100%. But I have been doing exactly the same thing. Exactly the same, taking a breath to the side, moving away to breathe, laughing away from the microphone.
Oh my gosh, Emma.
Yep.
Every time I laugh, I try. The minute I realize I'm about to laugh, I turn my head quickly. I have to, because I find it really annoying. No shots fired with other podcasters out there, especially in the illustration world. There are some folks who laugh right into the mic.
Oof.
And you're listening, you're on your run, you're on your treadmill, you're at the dentist's office, and then you're just listening, enjoying the conversation, and all of a sudden you hear this loud, just annoys me, and I'm like, I don't want to listen to this.
Do you want to take in a deep breath together?
Let's everyone, you and me and the listener, on 3. 1, 2, 3.
There we go. And we're back.
That might be where the ad gets put in. That might be interesting. So back to Bologna.
Yep.
Did your first book come out of that big experience where everyone's loving your stuff and you're getting offers of representation? What was the first book?
Yeah, it was called Lion Practice.
That wasn't your first book.
Was it not?
No. Your first book was actually about a sex dungeon.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. I did do that. But that was, it was a uni project. It wasn't a published book.
Okay.
So
that's too bad.
Yeah. Yeah, it was...
We're all a little worse off because of that.
Yeah, I know. You know what? I found it the other day and I was like, I've still got this.
Publish
Publish it. You know what? It was... I said I loved narratives. So for my third year degree final show project, I made as many books as I physically could, as many books, illustrated books. And my mum sent me this article, which was in the local Devon newspaper that said, sex dungeon found in sleepy Devon town. And I really loved that. Sort of, one, that my mum sent it to me was brilliant, and then 2, it's so weird, and I think I love that. I love something a little bit weird. The police had gone to this tiny town where nothing happens, and they'd found this sex dungeon, and I just thought it was absolutely hilarious. So I made a screen printed book. If you've got one of those, they are now very rare. I don't even think I've got a copy of that. And then I made this other book that was more inky, washy paintings and drawings. But yeah, I did do that, but it's not published.
All right. Well,
yeah.
One day it will be, and you sign me up for that one too. This podcast is produced by the Illustration Department, a global leader in online education for illustrators. Visit illustrationdept.com for offerings like mentorships and portfolio reviews, testimonials, our alumni showcase, our best-selling Substack, and more. That's illustrationdept.com. And now, back to our conversation. From not taking showers to sex dungeons to mental breakdowns.
Yeah. You
did have a mental breakdown.
Yeah.
As you described it. Mm-hmm. That agent that you had signed with after Bologna no longer your agent.
No.
You weren't happy with what you were doing.
No.
It was like you slammed the reset button creatively, it sounds like.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard you chat about this as well, so I know you will relate to this massively, but I wasn't into anything. There was nothing.
Yep.
My friends would be like, let's go watch a film. What films do you like? Nothing. Like, there was nothing.
Oh, yeah.
What kind of music do you like? Nothing. What do you want to draw? Nothing. Like, there was just there was nothing. And I really loved actually in that episode you did with Henry Cole, where you said you had that actual moment where you remember what it was that brought you out of it. But I don't know if I actually know what mine was, or if it was just drawing that got me out of it in the end. I don't know if you feel like this as well, but it feels like a different life now.
Yeah.
Like I almost can't connect back with it now.
Man, same.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to, I don't know. I always say this. Every time we talk about this stuff, I always say this. It's going to sound hokey. It's not hokey. It's real. And people who've felt this understand what we're talking about. I don't connect with my pre-depressed self.
I do not connect with my pre-depressed self at all. There's nothing.
Yep.
You know, every now and again, like you'll get, I mean, I don't use Facebook very often, but it'll pop up and it'll be like, however many years ago you were doing this. And I was like, was I? Wow, gosh, like that's not me anymore. And yeah.
It's hard to describe. It's not, I don't know, maybe I should sit down with a therapist about this and on the podcast and talk to them about it, because that would be great. I know that person is me. That's pretty obvious. When I try to put myself in that person's shoes, when I try to put myself in those memories, or look back on, or, you know, friends will bring up, hey, remember that time we were doing this thing? I look back on that time, I'm like, that dude was really lucky. I don't know who that guy is. And that's not to say that he was happy and I'm not. Like, I'm very happy. I'm just not, I don't know, something broke, something changed. I can't quite put my finger on it. The brain chemistry is different. It's probably why trust me, I love looking at photographs of like my kids when they're really, really, really little. Way, way before this whole thing happened. But when I do, most of the time I need to like step away, because it's very it's emotionally draining, and it brings up some stuff that I just don't want brought up. I start crying sometimes, because it's almost like that person. God, again, I know it's gonna sound weird, it's gonna sound whatever, but it's almost as if that person is gone. Like I'm mourning that person when I think back on that time. And I'm now like a different person, enjoying my time. I want to be very clear here, like having a great time, love everything, like life is good. But yeah, that person's gone.
I'm almost, I feel, this is going to sound awful, but I am so glad it happened. I mean, at the time, it was the worst thing that had ever happened to me, and I couldn't see a way out. I used to sit on the stairs in where I lived in Plymouth, and I used to wish I could have like a magic ball to show me what life was going to be like now. Like, I would have given anything just to be shown like a little glimpse that everything was going to be okay.
Yeah, me too.
But I would not go back and change anything, because my life I would not be here now, like in this position. I would not be in this position now, doing this stuff now without having gone through it. It made me stronger. It made me realize stuff about myself that I didn't know, but it has rewired my brain differently. So I do have a disconnect from that person who I was. And it is like you said, it is like you're grieving that person, but also you are that person.
Yeah.
Very, very confusing.
Very confusing. You're mentally healthier than I am, for sure, because you said you're happy that happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not there yet.
Okay.
I don't think I'm there yet. I was
But
talking
that's
about
okay.
this with London Lad on a previous episode.
Mm-hmm.
It's in the same camp as Everything Happens for a Reason,
Mm-hmm.
which I hate. I don't subscribe to that. I don't think everything happens for a reason. It's just a way of like sort of shoving off when something bad happens. Oh, don't worry about it. Everything happens for a reason. It's just sort of a way of like of discrediting it or dismissing it as not being as important or as traumatic or as big as it actually is.
I wonder if it's because there's so much, like, I don't live in the same house anymore. I wonder if these things have changed. Like, my life is really unrecognizable to what my life was before. And I wonder if part of that has been helpful with feeling happy that it happened. Like, I really wouldn't change that it happened.
I wouldn't, I mean, yeah, I wouldn't either. Is that true? God dang it. See, I'm not there yet. I think eventually I'll get to that place where I won't either, but I can't. I love where I am. I have things in my life that I had always dreamed and wished I had. I now have. I don't know if that was going to happen if things went differently. I don't think so. So, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And breathe. Should we breathe one more time?
Yeah.
All right, ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Everyone breathe. Nice.
Yeah.
All right, so back to Sex Dungeons. No, let's talk about Substack and Patreon.
Okay.
You're on Substack. You're on Patreon.
Mm-hmm.
Asking for a friend who hosts a podcast who thinks he made a grave mistake by deleting his Patreon. How do you see them together? Because I had Substack and Patreon, and I think I made a mistake by assuming, well, I deleted Patreon and essentially said to all of my patrons, which were quite a few, hey, I'm just moving all of my operations over to Substack. Come find me over there. Assuming that I knew that not everyone would. That would be a dumb assumption to think that everybody was going to transfer over. Not everyone did. And I thought, well, yeah, no, I'll probably lose 20, 40% or something. But I think I lost more than that. The more I think about it, the more illustrators sort of like ask me like, what's going on? There's no Patreon anymore. The more I'm thinking like, I think I made a mistake and I think I need to bring it back. You know, lesson learned. I don't know if it was a mistake. I think it's a mistake. I'm not entirely sure. So you tell me, like, you're on Substack, you're on Patreon. What are the differences? Why are you on both? Why are you not on just the one?
So you are braver than I am, because I think about 3 years ago, I almost moved everyone from Patreon onto another platform.
Okay.
I'm very grateful to patron, and I'm very grateful for
Patreon. You got to say it in American way.
And I'm very grateful for the setup and the opportunities it's given me. But there are things about it that are annoying. And so
that's true.
At one point I was like, I'm just going to move everything off. And all my patrons said, yeah, don't worry, we'll follow you, we'll come. And I physically felt everything was there. It was all set up. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to stay. I'm going to stay on Patreon. And that is where I share all my teaching and behind the scenes and sketchbook stuff. It's all on Patreon. But when I thought about moving it, I set up a Substack because I really like the idea of Substack. I just find it very confusing. But recently, patrons changed where it looks a bit more like Substack, and I'm like, oh no, I don't like change, but it'll be fine. I'll get used to it.
Right.
So I had a Substack which I wanted to have for writing, and I'm always really inspired. I love being in bed on a Sunday morning and reading Helen Stephens' Substack, where she'll post about her house or her week or what she's up to or her house renovations. And those Substacks for me are what I enjoy reading. So every week in my diary, it says, because I try and go to London Writers' Hour once a day. I don't go once a day, but I try. So every Friday I get a notification on my calendar that says, write a Substack post and schedule for Monday. And I've not done it for the last 8 weeks.
Nice.
And I don't think I've posted on my Substack for probably two years, maybe more.
Okay.
For me, what I would love for Substack to become is where I can share, like Helen does so well, more behind the scenes stuff, and then have Patreon as that sort of teaching platform where I share more behind the scenes stuff of my work. But doing both is hard. There's only so many hours in the day. I mean, then I think, like, does anyone really want to hear about my garden? Like, because I talk about my garden quite a lot now, and I'm worried that people's eyes glaze over when I start talking about gardening. And I also feel like there's a lot of people in my generation are becoming gardeners, and there's a lot of gardening chat happening already on the internet. And I don't know if I need to add my garden to the mix on that. So that's where I'm at with Substack.
I'll help you out on that. The answer is yes.
Yeah.
Of course.
Okay, great. Yeah. Cool. I got a new gnome the other day. I could share pictures of that. That's sort of,
I don't have any gnomes. I have a 4-foot wind chime.
That's cool.
In my garden. Yeah, it's really deep.
Yeah, nice.
It's nice. It's not like a high pitch, like ding, ding, ding. It's this really low, like dun, dun.
Ooh,
so nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
For anyone who's an Avatar: The Last Airbender fan, my garden represents all 4 elements. I have a fire pit.
Nice.
Clearly dirt. Lots of gardening. Wind, the chimes, and water. I have a pond.
Yeah, I have a pond.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
It's an oasis. I don't know. I mean, that's the thing about sharing online is what I get this a lot with illustrators asking me. What do you share? What should I share? What do I want to share? I'm like, share what you want to share. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if there's a correct answer to that, or if that is the correct answer. Whether it's on Instagram or Facebook or wherever the heck. Although Facebook is dead. Instagram and LinkedIn, those are the 2 places you should be, everyone. And Substack. And yeah, Patreon too. I don't know. It's hard to know as an illustrator what to share and whether or not what you're sharing is resonating or if anyone cares. I don't think the third one matters, honestly. Like, if you want to talk about your garden, talk about your garden.
Yeah. As it came out of my mouth, I was like, Emma, just go share about your garden. It's fine. I think it's really difficult juggling so many different platforms. I'm really bad at it. I'm really, really bad. Like, my Substack is unused. I'm trying to post more on Instagram, but I mean...
See, here's the thing that I find interesting. I suspect people who just heard you say that, like me, I'm doing the same, are sitting here scratching their heads. Like, wait, what? It feels like you're posting all the time. And here's you going like, oh, no, I don't post. It's infrequent. It is what it is.
I think if I'd gone back, going back 5 years, I would share a lot of my life online. You could figure out probably where I lived. I just wasn't really thinking about it.
Right.
Now I'm a lot more conscious of what I share and protecting my personal life so it's not all over the internet anymore.
I do the same thing. I've never mentioned where I live exactly. If I mention a town, I mention the town sort of near me. I'll often say like, oh, I live near the Brandywine Museum of Art. Like, that's about as close as I'm ever going to get about exactly where I live or what my town is called or any of that stuff. That's the world we live in now.
Yeah. I did do a house tour for my patrons.
Nice.
When we moved house last year, because it was quite funny. It was like every wall was wallpapered. This room that we're in now had shag pile carpet in it. It was pretty untouched from like the 70s, 80s, which was quite funny.
Yep. I would see that and go, and I'm done. Perfect. Yeah. My wife and I bought a house that had wallpaper kind of on one wall, on one side of the wall, not the entire room, just one side. And it was going up the steps and it had like a shaggy carpeting at the top of it. And it was, it's an old place. It was built in 1977. And I walked in and I was like, this is perfect. Changed nothing.
Yeah.
My wife was like, we're going to take out the carpet. We're going to remove the wallpaper.
Yeah.
We will do no such thing. And we have yet to do that, only because it's too expensive to do it. but she's still like, oh, we're taking this out. I'm like, no, we're not.
Our bathroom had carpet, which was...
That's out.
That's out. Yeah.
Another breath. See, here's us talking about carpets and gardens and all these things. Should we talk about illustration? Yeah, why not? You have taught, you teach. What would you say illustrators that you teach, artists, are like, what's the big question that they're trying to answer? What is it that or maybe put it another way, what's the one big lesson you hope they embrace?
I think after I was really mentally unwell, I went back to sketchbooks and I drew on location for like however long. I don't do that anymore. I wish I did it more, but I don't. But what that really taught me is to be playful, to experiment, to draw from life, or just be drawing something. It's okay if it goes wrong because you can just turn the page, and actually you'll learn more through the doing of that and just doing it, showing up and doing it and making all those mistakes and getting it all wrong. You'll learn so much more through that play, through that experimentation than you could do in anything else, really. For me, I learned so much through doing that. And I think there's a real resistance if you ask someone to play, there's a resistance to that. You're not asking someone to make a final piece of artwork which they can show to someone afterwards and say, look, I made this. Maybe you're just asking someone I do it every year with my patrons. We do a play exercise where we just play with materials non-figuratively. So we're not drawing something. We're just looking at like, how does this pencil layer over this? How does this material layer over that? And I start all my retreats with the same thing, because you don't know how those materials are going to interact with each other. So then when you come to do a drawing, if you've played before, you kind of know how to apply that. It sounds awful, but like you're more likely to get a successful drawing, which isn't always the goal. I don't think like just the showing up and drawing is, but the more you play, the more it will feed into your final drawing. So it is all about the process and the showing up. And I've said, I don't draw every day. I don't have a regular sketchbook practice anymore. But when I do, and I am drawing more regularly, I'm always just pushing myself and thinking like, well, what if I do this? What if I try that? I don't have a set way of working. So if I sat down to make a final piece of artwork today, I don't know how it's going to start. I just start.
Yep.
And that is really what I'm all about when I'm teaching.
Yeah. I feel like when you ask illustrators to experiment and try things and push things, and it may not be a portfolio piece, there's this sort of like assumption that's a waste of time or something. Like, oh, I don't have the time to play. I have to put together a portfolio. I got to show people my portfolio. But playing is going to help you get to that place where you can more freely and successfully create pieces that you're happy with, that become portfolio pieces that you can then show agents and art directors and stuff.
And there'll be more exciting pieces for all that play. Even if I sit down to do it, because I do it every year with patrons, and I'm doing a lot of screen printing at the moment. I try and take Wednesdays off to go to this screen printing class. And even in that, I've been playing, and even I know that it is good for me to play. But I've even been saying to my screen printing tutor, like, I don't want to do this. I want to make a piece of art. Like, I want to screen print something that people will look at and go, wow, I love that. But I know that actually the last 4 weeks I've spent just printing different textures over each other in different colors. And I know that my next screen print is going to be so much stronger for that. And even though I know that, I've even still felt that resistance to do it. Like, no, I don't want to do that. I want to make something that can go on in my portfolio on social media that I can show off with. But I can't stress enough how important, you can't see me, but I'm moving my hands around like crazy because I can't stress enough that importance of just playing and being playful and approaching drawing in a playful way, and how brilliant that can be for your creative practice.
Did we just do the thing that we said a couple of minutes ago people do that I don't like people doing?
What, when
Are
they
we
tell
saying
you
like,
what to
oh,
do?
no, like, oh, it's if you want to be an illustrator, all you gotta do is just play. Did we just do the thing? I don't think we did.
No, because
think
it's
so.
not. It's. I guess maybe
It's important.
we
In all
did.
seriousness, it's incredibly important.
Maybe we did do the thing, but I mean, I do really believe in it. I just don't really feel like you have to do that you can do that in any format. It could be if you've got a whole day to do it, great. If you've got 10 minutes, whilst you're having lunch and all you've got is a highlighter and a biro, like figure out how that highlighter and that biro can make really cool textures, because that's really exciting.
Right. That could be a thing.
You don't have to have the most amazing, perfect materials or sketchbook or whatever to do that. It's just about whatever you've got. I mean, my mum came to a live call once and stuck blue tack, one of my patron live calls, and she drew this cat and then she stuck blue tack on the eyes. And I was like, that's so weird. She shared it at the end and I was like, that's so weird, but that's so brilliant. And I would have never done that.
Yeah. I don't know if you can hear it, but my fan just turned on my computer. I was even thinking seconds ago, gosh, I'm so happy my fan isn't turning on, and this sound is for this episode is going to be so great. And the fan just turned on.
Sounds like a kettle. Do you have a kettle?
Just have a cuppa.
Yeah.
I do, downstairs.
Yeah. Sounds like a kettle.
All right, let's just say it's a kettle.
Yeah. You're making a cup of tea to get that cozy illustrator.
Where's my blanket?
Yeah.
I don't have a view of the ocean, but that's okay. Or whatever. Wild fields of flowers. The work you do is so good. I am such a fan of how you draw and paint and think of color. I don't know who the hell told you at the Bologna Book Fair that your work looked lonely or whatever. I don't see it that way. I see it as this very natural, introspective, creative, enjoyable manner with which you take what you're seeing and you interpret it in a way that is your own, but also for me is visually appealing. Mm-hmm. I'm not the first person to say that your work is lovely, and I won't be the last. I just want you to know that, because it's like your work. It's like there are illustrators out there that you follow on social media that you know about. You see books that they've done, and the work. You're so glad that their work exists. You're in that camp for me.
Thank you very
Sean
much.
Tan is in that camp for me. There are a few illustrators out there that do that for me, and you're in there.
That's very kind. Thank you. I don't see that in my own work.
Of course you don't.
I don't see it. I mean,
Hardly
I'm just
none of us do.
No, I'm just constantly trying to. I just think like I just constantly want to keep going. That I just see every drawing I make, every book I make as like the next step of a journey, and I'm just going to make the next thing. What's the next thing? What's the next thing? What's the next thing? So yeah. I think most illustrators will find this. You very rarely step back and look at your work and go, oh yeah, that's nice. Mm-hmm. So yeah, thank you. That's very kind. I don't really know what to say, but thank you.
Don't say anything.
Yeah. Thank you.
Are we doing the ASMR thing?
Yeah,
are we going to do the inside joke where this is Emma Carlisle coming at you with ASMR
sharpening
art.
pencils.
ASM art.
That's good.
Do we just do the title?
That's really good. Yeah.
ASM art.
Yeah.
How's no one done that yet? I'm sure someone has. We'll look it up. It's the nature of the internet.
Maybe that's what my Substack will be,
ASM art. Here's a brush loaded with oil paint gliding across a canvas.
Did that pick it up?
Yes.
Did it?
Absolutely did.
Okay. It was pencil sharpenings just getting rustled around.
I don't have any art supplies, although we'd have like 2 or 3 minutes of ASMR right now.
Yeah, I know.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, with the breathing and the ASMR, this is going to be a great episode to be listening to with headphones, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Don't listen to this in the gym. It's not going to work. Speaking of making things work, what piece of advice would you share with illustrators listening to this episode? Word of wisdom, piece of insight, anything that you'd want to leave them with from you to them?
Take a step back from Instagram. I think Beth mentioned this when she was on with you, that me and her have now got these like app blockers on our phones so we can't get on social media. And I've managed to get off Instagram. And
I'm sorry, what did you say? I'm scrolling on Instagram right now. What were you saying? Sorry.
Well, I just feel it's my life. I can almost feel like this haziness is lifting, because I feel like it's so easy to get sucked in and comparing yourself to what everyone else is doing and making and drawing, and being like, well, I can't make that because someone else is making that, and I can't draw that because someone else has drawn that recently, and I can't share that, or I'm worried about how many likes that might get on social media. But I mean, I think it's been about 3 months now that I've been working with this app on my phone, and my social media time is down to like my Instagram time is 15 to 20 minutes a day now, which I think before it was like 2+ hours of just scrolling Instagram. But I feel more creative. I feel like the ideas are bouncing around better. Although I think social media has its benefits for like sharing work and being seen online, so your work being seen. I do think that taking a step back from it sort of bombarding you with other people's stuff is really, I wish I'd done that a lot sooner. I'd have a healthier relationship with creating and being creative. If you're listening to that bit of advice and you think, no, thank you, I quite enjoy scrolling on social media, which I totally get, like that's not the best bit of advice for everyone. I would just say, just keep drawing, just draw, have a sketchbook. Remember to take a pencil when you take your sketchbook somewhere, and just start noticing what interests you and draw.
To learn more about Emma, visit emmacarlisle.com. If you find value in this podcast, you can support it by subscribing to my best-selling Substack. For $5 a month or $50 a year, you will access hundreds of articles on the art, practice, and history of illustration, unlock bonus podcast episodes called Extra Credit, and connect with other members of the ID community. Join me on Substack by visiting illustrationdept.substack.com. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time.